So you have been thinking about starting a no wigs, no braids, no extensions journey in 2026 and you just don't know where to get started, how to get started. I realized that taking a no extension sabbatical has probably been the one thing that has catapulted my hair health from what it was for 10 years to what it's now been in a span of a little over a year. How much healthier my hair is, actually a little thicker too, because I'm seeing comments about it even though I don't personally notice it, and definitely how much longer it is. So this is how to start your no wigs, no extensions journey in 2026. So there are 5 things that helped me that I'm gonna go over in this video. 1 is the battle of the mind. 2 is the battle of consistency and just staying grounded with your why. 3 is the battle of familiarity, getting uncomfortable and trying new things. 4 is the battle with tracking, not forgetting to take notes, take inventory of the hairstyles, the products, the progress. And the 5th one is a bonus one, and you have to stay until the end of the video to get into it. So let's start with number 1, right? The battle of the mind. And this is going from someone who always wore synthetic hair to going cold turkey, someone who stopped wearing synthetic hair completely.
So one of my favorite things always is to braid my own hair, but I've realized that I've been too hyper dependent on protective styles. So now my new favorite thing is taking down those protective styles.
And the last time I wore synthetic hair, this was actually a non-itch kind of synthetic hair. I took it down, and the one thing that I realized almost immediately was just how much my hair was damaged. Okay, sitting with the damage, sitting with having no edges, sitting with having so much split ends, sitting with thin strands, dry strands. Ooh, cotton-like hair. You know how like when hair doesn't feel like hair, it feels like cotton because it's missing the protein treatments. It doesn't have any, I think keratin is what gives our hair like that hardness. Just touching hair that feels like a ball of foam. So when you start your no extensions journey, you will feel weird. People around you will look at you and they'll make comments because they also feel weird. That is one thing that I had to embrace. Sitting in the evidence of my neglect, sitting in the result of me not taking my hair seriously, not feeling like your hair is pretty, going through the motion, experiencing the lowest lows, not feeling like it's not part of the journey, because actually it's a huge part of the journey. It's actually the one thing that helps you to start and helps you to stay consistent, understanding that this is what it feels and this is a feeling I never want to feel again. So the second thing that helped me on my journey when I decided to go extensions free, or actually when I went extensions free even without a plan actually, was understanding your why and allowing that to be what grounds you in a sense of keeps you consistent. My why was that synthetic braiding hair actually hurts me physically.
They say synthetic hair is toxic, but that's not news because your scalp has been trying to tell you that for the longest in the form of scabs and bumps and itch. Then I had this weird experience where I took down my braids one time just to let my scalp breathe, and I did it for a little longer than usual, and then it felt like the healthiest my scalp had ever felt. No pain, bumps, scabs, irritation, no hair loss. And I just became really curious about the possible correlation of that with chemicals in synthetic hair. And boy, when I did my research, did I find some things out.
The whole thing that we do, that is not normal. Okay, scratching our scalp like is not normal. I had a friend who actually traveled back home one time. One of the first things I noticed when I saw her after her trip was that she couldn't keep her nails out of her hair off her scalp. And then of course I saw the synthetic hair and I told her, you might not even be realizing it, but I think it's the extensions. And that's something we don't ever suspect, but it's actually one of the biggest culprits. So doing this to our scalp, leaving cuts and abrasions and wounds on our scalps is not normal. I also realized that it was a psychological thing for me in a sense that I was so dependent. I couldn't see myself without them.
I'm learning that extensions are actually not the problem, but not recognizing myself without them is the problem. Feeling like I can't show up to an important event without them is the problem. Close relationships, not knowing what my natural hair looks like is the problem. Shame, dependency, hiding is the problem.
So I never really thought I was the type
to hate my natural hair, but I've also never been the type to let my hair breathe without feeling like I needed to tuck it back into some sort of protective style. But then the real question is, have you been protecting your hair or have you been hiding your hair, Nadia?
So I wanted to get into a space where I didn't have to be bound by what I looked like. I didn't have to be controlled. Like my emotions didn't have to be controlled. Whereas like I feel confident only when I have a certain look. I wanted to be able to wake up and feel comfortable and confident regardless. So as you start your own no extensions journey, find your why and look at it as the end goal, but don't do it because you're trying to get to the end goal. Do it because you really want to be grounded, you really want to be present in the actual experience and the actual journey to getting to that destination, because the destination I don't think is what changes you. It's the things that you go through, the emotions that you feel, the things you learn about yourself, the things you learn to become as you're taking care of your natural hair because you don't have extensions anymore. I think those are the things that are worth going through the process for.
So do you have natural hair dysmorphia? Here's the quiz. 1. How many of the closest people you know what you look like with your natural hair? How many people that you've worked with for the past 1, 2, 3+ years have ever seen your natural hair? When was the last time that you let your natural hair breathe? For a week, 3 days, or a month, for a little longer than usual. If you have a protective style in right now and you're just waiting to take it down, and if you were challenged to take it down and let your hair breathe for a little longer than usual, how comfortable would you be taking that challenge? And 5, this is a question that I've asked already. Are you protecting your hair or are you hiding your hair?
And something too that helps is that, at least for my journey, there was a level of intentionality with it. I was intentional with myself, and I was also letting people know that the journey was intentional, but I wasn't forcing it on people. It wasn't the thing that when I walk into a room I like, oh my god, my natural hair is this and I got on this journey because it is, you know. It only ever came up when someone mentioned it, and honestly a lot of times it didn't come up at all. I think the only times it came up was when I would do something radical, like wear cornrows to a dressy event.
Imagine you do your big one in the name of representation and show up to a fancy event in cornrows, only to later learn that style is also referred to in some communities as jail braids, because apparently straight back cornrows are too closely associated with men in prison.
And then people would speak up, but not necessarily. I don't think I caught any condescending comments. I caught more comments of wow, like the audacity to even do this kind of thing. And then you realize that other people are inspired without even realizing it, without really putting a finger on it. Does that make sense? So I think this is number 3, and it's the battle of familiarity, not wanting to get uncomfortable. So something that really had helped me start my journey is knowing that I would have to try new things and being excited and looking forward to trying new things. What can I do with my hair tomorrow for church? When in the past it's like, it's in braids. What do you mean, what do I need to do with my hair? It's already done.
So this may or may not be shocking to you, but today's the first day in about 10 years that I'm taking my hair outside without tucking her into a hat, scarf, or some quote-unquote protective style. We're going to church, and I've given myself no other option but to show up confidently with my hair, and I chose a wash and go, so watch me figure it out.
You know, but being able to think a little bit ahead, where it's like, do I put my hair in bantu knots and allow it be like a, what do you call it, like a leave out, or like look like a wash and go? Or should I install mini braids? Should I see what mini twists look like on me? You know, just the excitement of doing something that you haven't done before and finding that thing that really accentuates your features. One of the only ways you're going to do that is getting uncomfortable, leaving familiar shores, the things that you're so used to, and venturing into this something that you're not very used to. And then I also realized that it begins to challenge you in ways that's bigger than just hair. Even your confidence level rises, because it's like, wow, so I don't need to do this and that to be enough, to feel enough, because I already am. So examples of what I did that are a little different apart from the hairstyles is that I actually got a trim. I trimmed my hair for the first time, actually, I think in my entire life. When I say for the first time, I mean trimmed it intentionally. Not the thing we do when we big chop because we're sick and tired, but trimming it because I'm realizing that, oh, I think I actually do have split ends. I want to learn a little bit more about split ends, going to someone who knows what they're doing and knows the importance of trimming. Another thing too that I did was I went to a dermatologist. I asked her, my hair is itchy, my scalp is itchy, I don't know if it's just a synthetic braiding hair or is there anything else that I have, is there anything that you can recommend? And she talked me through the word that I learned, seborrheic dermatitis. She talked to me about how it's actually pretty common. Talked to me about how we actually do more harm with our scalps when we add oil to it than not, especially as people who have seborrheic dermatitis. Talked to me a little bit about dandruff. She gave me a prescription that I still use till this day, not as faithfully as I should be, but at least I still do. So being able to do those kinds of things, get out of your comfort zone, experience new things, try new things. If you usually do your hair by yourself, maybe saying, I want to see what it feels like to have someone else do my hair. Or if you always have someone do your hair, then maybe saying, I want to see what it looks like if I do my own hair by myself. So yeah. So the fourth thing I want to mention is the battle of tracking. And I just want to remind you to be open to tracking, be prepared to track, because you will see progress. And I think the best way to really see the progress is to track it, to look at the data. The last time that I took down synthetic braids, this is what my hair looked like. This is what my hair felt like. This is where it was in terms of length. These are where the bald spots were. For example, because of my synthetic braid situation, I realized that it had given me a lot of baby hairs throughout my scalp. And I think it's because of the tension that comes with wrapping your hair around plastic so much and doing it back to back to back. And then I started seeing progress much later, but then I think if I had tracked it, I would have really seen at the exact point that I saw progress first, and maybe the exact thing that I was doing at that time that helped with the progress, so that I would then do more of what's working. Because a lot of times you get caught up not just in understanding your hair more, but you get caught up with life, you get caught up with things that are going on, and then you have to rely on memory. You have to rely on, okay, what had happened when I did my hair, when I put my hair in cornrows the last time? Was it too tight? And if it was tight, what did it do to my edges, if anything? It's like, oh, I remember when I tried this deep conditioner and how rich my hair felt afterwards. Or I remember when I tried this mask and how much my hair broke off after. Relying on memory a lot of times is not really going to do the thing, you know, as opposed to not really needing to remember these things because you have them tracked somewhere. I just want to follow up with, I have been working on this tracker that I probably should have been using myself from the beginning of my journey. And I so hate that this part of this video feels a little salesy, but again, when I talk about these things, it's not to push you to do anything. It's if you're already in a space where you're open to and you're looking for something, then it's like, this is available. And mine comes from experience, and it's something that I've been using, and it's something that I've spent countless hours, probably 100 too many, working on it. And when I finally publish it and it doesn't do well, then I'm gonna learn my lessons and not spend that much time on something that's like, girl, chill out. I don't know if I should call it a hair tracker or a journey tracker or a hairstyle tracker, but let's just say it's a natural hair tracker for now. Within it, you can track the different products that you're using. You track the date you bought them, when you finished with them, if at all, so you can kind of see a good overview of how many products you're juggling at any single time. You track your hairstyles, what works versus didn't, what they did to your hair, how your scalp reacted to it, and then you track your hairstyles by each month. And it's really cool. So I'm working on it. Hopefully by the time that I publish this video, I would have published the hair tracker as well. But this is one thing that I should have done at the beginning of my no extensions journey that you should consider doing, whether or not you're using an official tracker. So if you've gotten this far into the video and you haven't subscribed yet, I think you should. But here is the bonus thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and it is accountability partners. When you decide to go on your no extensions journey and you're like, where do I start? Find an accountability partner. It could be a really good friend who's maybe going through the same thing, a really good friend who hasn't even thought about it, who you're like, oh, I noticed when you put synthetic hair, it itches you a lot. Maybe you can try doing this, and I'm going on the journey as well. Maybe we can do it together and we keep each other accountable. It could be as intimate as that. It could be doing something similar to what I did, where I literally showed my journey, I tracked my journey, I shared my journey on YouTube, and I allowed myself to make the mistakes, and not only to learn from it in real life, but also to learn from the engagement that I got on the videos, you know, in the comments. Women who had also been really dependent on their extensions, women who had heard of the word hair dysmorphia but really didn't believe in it, felt like it was a made-up thing until they realized that, dang, I actually do have hair dysmorphia. Women who really ground you, women who encourage you, women who tell you when you sound judgmental, women who tell you when you've inspired them to do something they never thought they would. The only thing with that option is that you have to be consistent. It takes I've never respected content creators more than after doing and getting on this journey. The consistency is real, and the amount of time it takes is real. Working through the collaborations and people reaching out, not necessarily in your best interest, but really to push their own products and for the whole capital, those are all real. So just be careful of that and just keep things authentic. So this part of the video is all about you. You've also gone through this no extensions journey and you felt some type of way about it. It could be positive in the sense that it changed your life in certain ways. It could be negative in the sense that it did absolutely nothing for you. I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure that those women who are also considering getting on the journey or have made the decision and don't know how to start are probably also going to be really excited to hear from you. So thank you all for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.